secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
As they count down to the inauguration of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Nigeria's 16th president continues, more and more world leaders are showing solidarity with him in recognition of his well-deserved win. The United States, United Kingdom, China, Ukraine, France, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cuba, Nicaragua, Namibia, and a host of others have already sent in their congratulatory messages. The ECOWAS Parliament and other ECOWAS bodies, the D8, that is, the Developing Aid Organizations for Economic Cooperation, the African Union, are among organizations that have recognized Bola Tinubu's impressive win in the presidential election held on the 25th of February, 2023.
The United States congratulates the people of Nigeria, President-elect Tinubu, and all political leaders following the declaration by Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, or INEC, on the results of the February 25th presidential election. This competitive election represents a new period for Nigerian politics and democracy. Each of the top 3 candidates was the leading vote-getter in 12 states, a remarkable first in Nigeria's modern political era, reflecting the diversity of views that characterize the campaign and the wishes of Nigeria's voters.
Namibia also looks forward to a good working relationship with the incoming government of President-elect His Excellency Asiwayo Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
The goal of world leaders is to partner with a prosperous Nigeria, the economic giant of the African continent. Tinubu's presidency is expected to usher in unprecedented growth and development across all critical sectors.
Voted as the best TV station of the year, TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories, we tell the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Lagos is the most visited state in Africa as the 5th largest economy on the continent. Covering the state and its government is no mean feat, it's a busy beat. We go beyond the curtain of tapes to traveling far into the deep.
I want to thank the Lagos state government for the healthcare facility.
To bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians.
Hello and thank you for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Today on the program, Tinubu promises tough decisions. NLC demands new retirement age as Edo State Governor says salary at risk if subsidy remains. I'll be hanging out with Paul Dada and Dr. Oladipo will be joining us later on the show. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with insecurity. Better late than never is how best to describe the recent release of one of the abducted Chibok girls in April 2014. Troops of the 114th Task Force Battalion of the Nigerian Army in Bita, Borno State rescued a 26-year-old pregnant woman said to be one of the Chibok schoolgirls. The rescued woman, identified as Hawa Mata, with serial number 2 on the list of the abducted schoolgirls, was rescued by troops on the 21st of April along with a 3-year-old baby. We waited since 2014 and the parent of this children that were not found would have been, almost losing hope or would have lost hope. 2014 to this time, that's 9 years down the line.
Yes. And if Awa is 26 now, it means she was 27. She was 17.
She was 17 when
she was abducted.
Wow.
For me, when I read this news, it didn't make me happy. It rather made me sad, and I will tell you why. Maybe from the perspective of the family of the girl, now a woman, maybe, of course, they will definitely be relieved or happy that at least she came back. She came back, yeah, she's back. But let's look at this. Let's look at it critically. Over 276 students or girls were abducted in 2014. 57 escaped almost immediately. Some have escaped through the years. Others are dead. Some have been exchanging, prisoner swap. Exchange for Boko Haram prisoners and all of that. Some
sold, some were married off.
Exactly. Now, in the case of this girl, she was forced into marriage with Abubakar Shekau's cameraman, who died, and then was forced to marry another one, who also died.
Wow.
So, two Boko Haramas or Haramites married her, and she's 26. So she's been a widow twice at the age of 26. Normally, you will think that
psychologically they would have destroyed her.
I tell you, a 26-year-old should have a life ahead of her. But the way
just starting,
graduate,
finishing NYC.
Imagine if she had not been kidnapped. By now, she probably would have been a professional, or at least a graduate.
Of course, she would have finished her service.
Exactly, serving. And also, her life was, I don't want to use the word destroyed, but her life was damaged. Her life was damaged. So it's nothing sharing. And there are so many people many of them like this. Some have even been killed. Now, the issue is this. The psychological effects of what she went through. The forced marriage. The rape. To see that some of her colleagues were also killed. And some were able to escape. Some were killed. And to integrate that person in the society.
Living with semi-animals.
I tell you, even less than animals. Less than animals. So you see, now bringing in that girl, for me, it signifies our failure to help this girl. To help this girl and so many other people in Cap. A mother of two, she's a mother of one, the other one is the mother of a 3-year-old, and she's also pregnant with another. If 8 months pregnant, how do you integrate that person in society? She needs a lot of much rehabilitation. Apart from that, what about the stigma? How would people look at her, the wife of Boko Haram members? There are a lot of people that will look at her like that, and then, it's a lot.
So she got married to Shekau's cameraman?
Cameraman, yes, who died.
Who died.
And the other one she got married to also died in tussle between ISWAP and Boko Haram. ISWAP, Boko Haram tussle, lost his life. And this girl, and we are rejoicing. I don't think there's anything to rejoice over. There's nothing to rejoice over. To me, this is a symbolization of the fact that we failed these girls, and we failed so many people in captivity. We face so many Nigerians in captivity. Many people have lost their lives. Many people have become widows. Some have become widowers. Some have become orphans because of the activities of the unchecked activities of Boko Haram. These girls were kidnapped in the dying, towards the end of President Jonathan's administration. He couldn't do anything about it. The current administration came up, had first term. Second term is about winding up. And we still have over 100 of these girls unaccounted for. Where are they? Well, there's nothing to rejoice. There's nothing to celebrate.
At that time, if the government had been proactive, immediately they were abducted and actually put in place what they are meant to do, or maybe to be trained by Bata and everything, but now we might not have been talking about these famous Chibok girls, but the story reverberated across the world.
There was Chibok, there was Dapchi, and there have been so many. And terrorists attack schools. Nobody does anything about it. We can't do much about it. They attack military formations. They attack police stations. You know, for me, this is not something worth singing hallelujah for. There is no hallelujah to be sung. Because we just brought in a damaged good. At the age of 26, she has been a widow twice. Widow twice.
At the age of 26.
Married to beasts. Forced into marriage with beasts who are dead. I mean, it's very shameful that this is what this is the narrative that we are pushing, that we have in our country as of now.
So Dr. As I said, what Paul his narration is, you know, that there's nothing to celebrate about, you know, the location of this girl, and maybe the federal government will reunite her with her family and everything. But this on record that they were abducted April 2014. We're our parents.
We're even...
and this is 2023.
Yeah. Well, I think what we are going to hope for is that psychologists, physiotherapists, all the
professionals,
all the professionals in the medical field
who work on this girl,
sociologists, those are the kind of people that need to work on them now. They've been so used to this life in the forest, and with so nothing can shock them again. They are beyond.
Not even gunshots.
No. They are so used to that. That's if she is not yet a professional herself, or all of them
carrying AK-47.
Yeah, because you just must be able to flow when you get into such. So I think what we should at least give kudos to the government that something is still happening. We are not yet, we've not given up on these girls. They will be found for those who are not dead
Paul
yet.
Dada is saying that it's the failure on the part of government that if they've allowed these girls to go through
no doubt about
harrowing
that.
experience
No doubt
and
about
everything
that.
for 9 years.
No doubt about that. But don't forget that this is not a conventional war. It's not a conventional war. If at the time these girls were located, initially, the kind of thing that we know our military to do, drop bombs and then attack, all of these girls will be dead by now.
Collateral damage.
Yeah. That's why we saw at some point that even some of our soldiers were killed because they couldn't attack at the point where they see the girls and the militants and the terrorists. They couldn't. So it's saddening that it's happening this way, but we still must say that those who are locating them now should get kudos for it. Because whether we like it or not, they are still Nigerians. They are still a part of us. We just mustn't rule them out. It's just that we need to do a lot of work on them.
But we've been told about some of them that, after the process of adaptation, 9 years, some of them have this Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
They came back, they ran back, they escaped from the camp, they came back, and when they saw that they weren't reintegrated well, even in their parents' house, they had to run back to the trench.
That is exactly what he was saying. That's why you need all professionals to be involved. Because you can't expect people who were traumatized and forced into radicalism or to hobnob or marry radicals. Those were the faces they were seeing for 9 years. The faces they were seeing were faces of terrorists, those who were feeding them. And of course, some of them have been probably been given the indoctrinated into accepting what does not pass for what is their own brand of whatever it is called. They know what it is. So we can't extremists. Okay, so we can't expect that they will just change. So they need to be detoxified. They need to be de-radicalized. They need to keep an eagle high on them to make sure that they can really get back into society and fit in. So that is what we actually...
You know, it's part of the fear that people, especially the military, will express when people are coming back into society. Are they coming to spy on us, to go back, to give them some feedback? Because we can actually tie this to part of the things happening to Nigerians fleeing Sudan. Part of the fear of the governments of the neighboring countries to Sudan is, are there fighters among these people who want to penetrate and have access to our country? Are even those people are Nigerians themselves, not yet radicalized and trying to return to Nigeria itself to perpetrate evil? You know, those are things that people will consider in situations like this. Because if this entities here, for instance, has been told, you need to go back, see what is happening, and then, you know, some of them were used at some point, if you recollect, to bomb military formations, to bomb military checkpoints, especially in Borno and Yobe states, because they've been brainwashed, and then they've been told, look, this is what you can do for us.
Okay, we have to move on. Most times, it takes disaster or alarm to jolt us into action as a country. The National Agency for Food and Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has reaffirmed the ban on importation of Indomie noodles into the country. This is coming on the heels of the recalling of Indomie noodles by Taiwan and Malaysia following the discovery of a cancer-causing agent in it. According to the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the agency has started working on analysis of the compound of Indomie made in Nigeria and promised to update Nigerians on the outcome of that investigation. This is the fastest food our children take. This is something that, look, it will cut across. This is catastrophic. Because, I don't know. This came, if you remember, some years back, under the NAFDAC of late Dora Akunyili.
Yeah.
Something like this was, alleged, and NAFDAC carried out their findings and everything, and later they discovered that they gave this particular product a clean bill of health. This happened like 10, 15 years ago, if you just remember. A clean bill of health. Now we are at it again. That for Malaysia, for these other countries to be recalling this Indomie again, that shows that, look, we have to pay attention. Now, I know that they stopped importation a long time ago. They have their own plants across the country, and they make it here. So, NAFDAC will see to that the imported ones will not find their way into the country, and the ones we have on ground to be well tested.
Yes, I think that we must commend NAFDAC for its proactiveness. Actually, NAFDAC under Professor Mojisola Adeyeye has not performed poorly, has done well. Now, but let it be clear that NAFDAC is not saying that it's banning Indomie, as reported by some publications. NAFDAC is not banning Indomie.
Yeah.
Indomie.
Let's make it clear.
Yes, we should make it very clear, because some people don't understand it.
Imported ones.
Exactly.
Yes.
In fact,
especially from Taiwan and Malaysia.
There is already a prohibition in place by the FG on importation of Indomie. Indomie is being produced locally in Nigeria.
So why was we
again? No, what is happening? No, why must we again? Now, when Taiwan and Malaysia took that decision, to that step, NAFDAC now thought that it is also wise for us to remind Nigerians that Indomie importation is banned. That's one. We will also examine the one that is being produced locally to see whether there is fire on the mountain. Okay, that's what NAFDAC is trying to do, and I think it's good enough. I think it's wonderful. You know what I remember, actually, when I saw this story, I just remembered my Peking. You know my Peking? That teething powder in 2008.
Yes.
You remember? Teething powder, powder was given to children when they were teething.
Yes.
You know, and it was very harmful to them. And you saw the action, you remember the action that was taken against that powder. So we cannot rest on our horse. Like you said, this is what children like to take. Every child, Indomie.
Not children alone.
In fact, other noodles that are not Indomie.
Meal you can fix.
Indomie is a generic name for all noodles. Just like you understand.
I'm telling you.
Indomie. Even my little boy, 8 years, I think he believes all noodles are Indomie. So you understand. But the truth of the matter is that yes, we like what is happening, and NAFDAC should just make public its findings. If Indomie produced locally is given clean bill of health, let's know. If there are issues, let's know. And how to correct those issues, let them just go ahead and do it.
Well, that's why they come some people Indomie generation. During my time, we did not know what was the Indomie. All of a sudden, maybe like 20, 25, 30 years ago, they started bringing it.
I think there are a couple of issues here.
Okay.
One, those foreign Indomies are in this country. No doubt about that. Same thing with spaghetti. I know people who can identify all of them. Whether local,
the difference between the local and the import.
They will tell you, I don't want local. I want foreign, which is imported. So the big question to ask is, how have these things been getting into the country?
Despite the fact that they have manufacturing plants here.
Beyond even manufacturing. That's why the fact that there is a ban on the importation. Two, we also have to ask ourselves the question, except in some instances, most of these imported ones are cheaper than the local ones.
Cheaper than the local ones?
Yes. Which points us in the direction of this quest and shout for us to be able to manufacture things locally and at reasonable price. Because everything that we do in this country will be based, as in manufacturing, on certain parameters. Number one, power. Number two, equipment. For parts of those equipment, you have to import. When there is a breakdown, you have to start looking for forex to bring in your parts. And it's still the same issue that we say. All of these things run around themselves. They run into themselves.
You say the manufacture here, you can't be convinced that 100%.
Yes.
The raw materials, everything they're being assembled here.
From here. So we must get to a point where we can say to ourselves as a country that we can be self-sufficient. It's a shame that the wheat that they use for these things, they are taken from here. They are taken largely even from parts of Africa. So what is happening to us as a country that we cannot say our own Indomie is cheaper? Look at the issue of rice too. They are the same family. Rice locally is higher in price than the foreign ones.
Honestly.
Go and check it out. Local rice, the price is higher because we claim or we know also that it is far more nutritious, far more beneficial to the body, and the cost of producing it is higher. So it's just a ring that we must start checking. If we don't address the issue of pricing and manufacturing, biomanufacturing, we will not be able to keep all of it. We're only going to say it because some parents, as far as they are concerned, give me the cheapest is what they want. Honestly. Because they can't even afford the ones that are expensive. So we must begin to look at all the indices. It's not just about pronouncing a ban. Yes, you can pronounce a ban. That's if people can afford the alternative.
I think the government will have to protect us fast and faster because I can.
Than we are now.
I can imagine the number of children that will go to bed with Indomie noodles tonight, and the people that will still go to the market to buy the foreign, the imported ones.
The ones that are cheaper.
Absolutely. For instance, because as he's talking now, I now remember, apart from the regular onions and hungry man size and everything, I've seen like brownish
different ones.
Very
different ones.
That that this is imported, that they don't make this here. Okay, we'll quickly take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still John the Standards. We'll be right back after this time out.
Was made in Ebonyi State on 29th May 2015 as the day that heralded the coming on board of a leader who made a visionary political history as the third civilian deputy governor and third civilian governor of Ebonyi State. Upon inauguration, Governor David Umahi developed a five-fold covenant performance plan of his social contract with the people of the state. They has flagship projects that are setting the state on the path of economic prosperity. This include concrete-based network of road that has made the state a global village. The over 14 twin flyovers connecting the major junctions and borders of the state. The state shopping mall, described as the microcosm of Dubai Mall. The new David Mweze Umahi Federal University of Health Sciences, established to provide treatment of liver problems, cancer, heart diseases, heart transplant and production of dialyzers, and many more achievements in education, human capital development, agriculture, and other sectors of governance. Today marks another historic moment in the lives of Ebonyi people, as their dream of having one of the best international airports in Nigeria is being actualized. The project was initiated and started by the administration of Governor Umahi. Initially, many did not believe that it was possible for it to be actualized, given the limited resources of the state and many other projects being handled by the Umahi administration. Through the ingenuity of the governor, who is a passionate engineer, the design and construction works were done by indigenous engineers. A section of the international airport, the presidential lounge named after President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, was commissioned last April by the president himself. At that time, most of the sections had not been completed. Today, the State International Airport is being counted as one of the leading airports in terms of beauty, formidable state-of-the-art facilities, quality and size of the tarmac and runway. The investment, prospects and vistas of opportunities the airport business will bring in Ebonyi State is immense, with a smooth network of road leading to the 5 neighboring states, including Abia, Benue, Cross River, Enugu and Imo. Ebonyi International Airport is set to provide alternative air travel choice that can compete with the exploits of continental airports. Ebonyi is the only place in Southeast that does not heed to the sit-at-home orders of the non-state actors, and this is a point of attraction for investors and travelers all over the world. The airport, named after President Muhammadu Buhari, had its inaugural flight operations and flight test was carried out by Air Peace coming from Abuja and Lagos airports. From Abakaliki, capital city, to the airport is just a distance. The route to the airport is greeted with the aesthetics of President Muhammadu Buhari Light Tunnel, the shopping mall, State Ecumenical Center, Bishop Nnachi Okoro flyover, crossing a 4-lane highway leading to Engineer Fidelis King's Mweze twin flyover that terminates at the airport. Sitting on a 3.5 kilometers land, the Ebonyi International Airport has a perimeter fence done with concrete, covering the entire area of the airport, the fire station, the presidential lounge, the control tower that has 10 floors, among others, are facilities with special architecture that stand the airport out as one of the best in Nigeria. So far, The airport has given employment to over 272 people in different departments. As the people of Ebonyi State welcome the Federal Ministry of Aviation and all regulatory agencies who came to perform the flight test and inauguration of flight operations. They conveyed their best wishes to the Governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency, Engineer David Mweze Umahi, for being the vision bearer and great leader who has given Ebonyi State a new lift.
And some people continue to want to downgrade us, but it's very difficult for them. This is not cargo airport. It is the international standard airport.
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout live on TVC News from our headquarters here in Lagos, Nigeria. And I have Dr. Oladipo and Paul that are in the studio. And a lot of people, they say, I've been getting messages and everything on this topic. Dr. Way forward. Because this is what affects everybody.
Way forward is for us to produce everything that makes up the Indomie, whether it's the condiment or the wheat itself. We must be able to produce it in a cheap way. Because if it's still not or if it's not cheaper than what is imported, those who import these things and find a way of ensuring that they muzzle their way through the ports, they are still going to continue. They are going to continue. And we're still going to be in this mess of, is it cancerous or not?
And people will always elect to go for something cheaper. If the foreign product, or foreign brand of Indomie it's cheaper, people will go for it. You know, whether it's rice, whether it's Indomie, even whatever it is. You know, if we cannot deal with reducing the cost of production by making power available, making the equipment available, producing the raw materials, all of that. If we cannot get all of this done, then we'll be stuck with this for a long time. One way or the other, people will bring in those any banned products, and then people will still get it when they find it cheaper.
And we appeal to the DG of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, to expedite action in whatever tests that NAFDAC will carrying out on this to actually establish the facts about this noodles. Because you can just imagine the number of Nigerians that will still go to bed eating Indomie noodles tonight and tomorrow morning. Our children will still have to take it to school. And so, very, very important. Prof, please, save us. Hey, moving forward now. There's still much ado about the sit at home in the southeast as citizens are torn between obeying or disregarding it. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, has threatened to cut salary of workers in the states who skip work on Mondays because of the sit-at-home initially issued by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the region. Governor Soludo said Monday sit-at-home, and that it cannot continue. Dotun, we non-state actors sat down and promulgated a decree or whatever, maybe informally, and that in the southeastern part of Nigeria, activities will be paralyzed every Monday. And this has been going on now. How many months?
Months? Yes, about 2 years now.
And
yeah, unfortunately, what the governor did not take into consideration has been the failure of the state to build confidence in people through proactive actions that their safety can be guaranteed. I would rather lose a part of my salary
to lose my
than risk my life. we're not even saying you are sure one is sure is going to lose it. But why risk it in the first place? Over how much is the government even paying? Because what we have seen has been that IPOP said, okay, there will be a sit-at-home. Through its spokesman, Imo Powerful, it says, we've lifted it. But some other state actors outside the state actors.
Splinter groups from Finland, from...
And this continues.
What do they call it?
And then, unfortunately, you are asking civilians to come out when these guys are killing soldiers. They are killing policemen, civil defense operatives, and then you are asking unarmed civilians to go into the streets and come to work. It's going to be tough. Because when you look at it, it's not only civil servants who keep off the streets. Even markets are shut down almost completely. Locked down. So that should be the starting point. Can we guarantee the safety of these people? How many security personnel do you even have? What level of intelligence do you have before every Monday where these people are going to likely strike from? How many people do you even, how many of such strikes have we been able to prevent? Because this is not a conventional war. It's a guerrilla war.
And those guys attacking people, have we been able to bring them to book, arrest some, and parade them to say, look at these guys are the ones implementing and
if you cannot do it that way also, have you been able to bring these guys to sit down and then you talk and you stop all of this? Until when the safety of people is guaranteed. I don't see this bragado.
Is it out of fear?
Working.
Is it out of fear, genuine fear, or a kind of solidarity to whatever IPOB represents in the Southeast that is working?
I do not think it's solidarity. I do not think traders, for example, who make money would want to stay at home and lose their income for months. Even if some people were in solidarity with whatever they call themselves, IPO, by now, I'm sure wisdom has spoken to them to change their mind. You can't be gainfully employed, or you can't have a thriving business, and then somebody says, you shouldn't go to work on Monday. Monday of all days. So I do not think it's about solidarity. I think it is about fear. Because what is happening in the Southeast is that there is a known government and there's an unknown government. I didn't say unknown government. And the unknown government is more feared than the government that is put in place. Look, if government says, move out on Monday, and these groups say, don't move out on Monday because you could be in trouble, wisdom will tell many of them to stay. Because whether we like it or not, the truth is that government, the state has not been able to secure lives in that place. People are killed. So I would rather lose money than lose my life. It is not that I want to lose money. Okay, it is not that they don't like money or they don't want to make money. But between making money and surviving and living, which one is better? I can understand, I can sympathize with Governor Soludo. Because, he was complaining. He said that they have been running on budget deficit. They expect 4 billion naira IGL. They get 2 billion. They expect 5 billion from federal government. They get less than that. But this is more than money. This is about lives. So what the state should guarantee is the security of these people. The state should restore confidence in its ability to protect the people. Otherwise, you keep talking and talking and talking, and nothing will change.
And it goes beyond the jurisdiction of Governor Soludo. Let's say Anambra State. This is observed across the south, eastern part of the country. Now, that means Governor Soludo might have to work with other governors, and they might have to reach out to larger stakeholders.
They've been talking. What we have not seen, what we are waiting for will be the results. They've been talking. Look at what happened before the election, when they said there was not going to, and they were attacking INEC officials and all the rest. So why, even despite the fact that...
Let me take Yakub from Lagos.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for joining us, Yakub.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then good evening to you two guys in the studio as well.
Good evening.
Good evening. Ayo, I think I totally disagree with Governor Soludo because the question is this. The people that this for no gunman have killed, what was the governor or quote unquote the government entirely just to their family? One of your reporters there says that the military have been killed, the police have been killing. In fact, they attacked INEC office several times. What was the governor did that time? Now, your guest also says something that, in fact, is the nail on the right place. See, I would rather lose that job instead of losing my life. Because the issue is this. Kabasita always says this. Whoever fights to run, stay and live to fight another time. If you lose your job, and then you can be able to secure another job when everything is okay.
Thank you, Yakub. And as we reach home stretch on this particular topic, it will now be one of the problems and one of the responsibility on the table of the new administration.
Exactly.
Yes,
something must be done.
I think at the federal level,
a deliberate effort.
I think at the federal level there must be.
President Muhammadu Buhari did not reach out enough to solve this problem. As in, to solve this sit at home. I've never even seen him acknowledging, the loss and everything, or this Monday sit at home and everything. So it now behoves on this new administration to sit down with the leaders of the Southeast.
We cannot be doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result. If the situation is still the way it is in the Southeast, it means there is something that needs to be done better. It means we need to rethink our strategy. Because you can't just have some groups, dictating to other people how they should live their lives, when they should go out, when they should go to work. Outlawed groups.
Especially, yes.
It can't continue like that. We have a government, so we can't have anarchy in that particular part of the country, or in any part of the country at all.
I completely agree. And what we still need to do at the end of the day will be some form of dialogue. It might have failed in the past, but can we see how it's going to work now?
How about the prospect of releasing Mazinam Zikadum?
Well,
political solution.
I agree with that argument that it cannot just be released that way. I agree with that argument.
Political solution?
Yes, there can be political solution, but that political solution must come before the release. Meaning that even if it's going to be part of that solution, it must still be going through the court process. When that is done, then you can finalize something.
Because Mike Osekome, Chief Wanyan, they've appealed to President Buhari.
The appeal is there.
They know that you have the power
to do so.
To do this, to enter a Nole, stop.
Nole prosecute. You can stop it.
Stop the trial and everything.
It can be stopped.
Without any explanation to the court.
What I'm saying is this. If you suddenly enter that, and the trouble or the agitation becomes higher because it's a free man again, what happens? The first thing is to extract promise, is to extract commitments from all parties. I think that is very, very important. It's key.
All right. Nigeria is in transition, and attention is on the inauguration of a new government on May 29. Ahead of the inauguration of the president-elect, Bola Tinubu has promised to take tough decisions to reposition the country for the benefit of the citizens and workers. In the face of this, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has demanded that the retirement age of civil servants be raised to 65 years and the length of service to 40 years. Meanwhile, Governor Godwin Obaseki in Edo State has decried the state of the economy, saying that it will be tough for states and federal government to pay salaries and wages for workers if fuel subsidy is not removed by June. Let's start from the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The tough decisions ahead. I thought Muhammadu Buhari was going to make good of his promise before leaving office. We know the number one, the topmost is the removal of this subsidy. And stylishly, systematically, this administration has just kept it at bay to wait for the new administration. And I read the editorial of Punch today, you know. So the liability that's going to be inherited by the new administration and any government will become unpopular instantly. Tough decisions.
You see, it depends on who the person who is heading that government is. There are times you take decisions and you just close your eyes. It will take a few months, a few years before you start seeing the benefits. Let's go to Edo, for instance. Adams Oshiomhole, the former governor, was one of those who clamored that workers should not be retrenched when he was president of the Nigeria Labour Congress. They fought government very seriously at that time. Before he left Edo State, he had trimmed down the civil service. That is why today, Edo State is able to pay salaries and will brag about it. But the question is, how many civil servants does Edo State have now? That is logical, common sense. Because you cannot have a workforce that you are treating as if it is a social responsibility. Whereas the workforce is less than 1% of the entire population, but consuming more than 50% of the resources. How much are they bringing into the government coffers? Because those are tough decisions that must be taken now. That if you are not productive as an entity, as an institution, then we must begin to talk. There are certain areas where we don't like to go into. As I was coming out, somebody called me and said she was proud of what the Saudi government was doing with its petroleum industry. What are we doing with us? Saudi government has a lot of people employed. It's making profits through its Aramco or whatever it's called, the Saudi Arabia Petroleum Corporation. So those are tough decisions that must be taken now. We are told that we have 4 refineries not producing. How many workers do we have in the last 80 years working in those refineries and that are not productive? They are tough decisions. They must be taken. It will seem, okay, NLC came and said, if you remove petroleum subsidy, then you must pay us a minimum wage of 100,000. And the question to ask is it feasible? Let's even say it is feasible, sir. It is feasible. Do they even think about what inflation will do to that 100,000 that is going to eat it up in a week? Even before they start earning it. Are they thinking, what is the solution out of this inflation? Are we going to bring interest rates back to a single digit and very low at that, maybe 2%, 1%? Those are the things that this government...
That's possible.
No, those are not... You see, it's not a one-day job. It's not a one-day job.
From 21% right now?
Yes, sir.
Down to single digits?
It is something that will... That's why it's called tough decisions. You must sit down and look at it and say, what is good for this country? Because the way we are going, sir, if we are not careful, we are going to kill this country. Yeah. Which we have almost done now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The president was so reluctant because I know that he's after the interest of the masses. And they told him the implication that, look, by the time the downstream sector and everything is regulated and everything, if we remove this subsidy, we might end up buying a liter 500, 600, 700, or 800 naira per liter.
Let's be realistic. It's actually a serious dilemma. This issue of subsidy removal has been one that, as the debate has lingered on.
But the president-elect said it in his campaign that it was going to. He was so unequivocal about it.
Even this administration was also unequivocal. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think there is anybody who is conscious of our realities today. I don't think anybody would think that subsidy should remain. It does not make sense. It does not make any economic sense. It makes no sense at all. However, what we have talked about is, if we are removing subsidy, what about ensuring that there is a local production of oil? You understand? Palliative. So that we don't and there are palliatives. Yes, I think subsidy has to go.
Local refineries.
Yes, local refineries have to work.
Okay. Let's just. The Nigerian Labour Congress talking about 65 years length of service to 40 years.
I also think, in a way, I disagree with that. Because when you look at the way we have run this country, people are going into universities and coming out, and they can't find jobs. Some people are holding on to those jobs. They still want the length of service.
With their the date of birth.
Yes, they still want to hold on to this job for longer. I'm not saying it's not good, but you can only encourage that where the system is running properly, where the level of unemployment, the rate of unemployment is not increasing every year.
Okay. Yeah. So length of service, 40 years. It's
going to 65. So when a little more time, we'll say you should go to 70, which is what we are pushing.
Even if FG can, let's say FG can do this, if FG can even increase the minimum wage to 100,000, what about the states? A lot of currently, many states are still owing salaries. So we need to be.
They can't pay the 18,000.
They can't even pay.
Not to talk of 30,000.
They can't even pay 30,000. So we need to be very realistic in our demands, in our requests.
Have to leave it there.
For me, it's like I've said, it's a circle that we must make sure the wheel rolls properly.
Exactly.
It's a circle. If the refineries are not working, and the only one we are looking up to is Dangote refinery, then I don't see what those number of workers are doing in NNPC.
Kaduna refineries.
All of them. I don't see what
they are being paid for doing nothing.
They are being paid for doing nothing. If there are too many civil servants in the system, I don't see why NLC and TUC should force us to retain them, because they are being subsidized by the private sector.
All right. I want to thank you, for your contribution. And Dotun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oladipo. And that's our off Hangout on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
It's a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill. The compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1 horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the Sport X treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home. You could pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this, but you can get the Sport X treadmill for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira. Order right now and get this for just 264,950 naira only. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the Sport X Digital Compact Treadmill delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Hurry, limited stock available. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
It's not your regular show. It's an online interactive session where I will share my views on the everyday issues that cut across politics, security, health, current affairs, governance, and so much more. I am passionate about our country. I choose to support any conversation geared towards building a better Nigeria. I am Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Join me every Saturday on TVC News YouTube channel as I discuss Nigeria and the world at large on the show Issues with Jide.
When shippers groan under the weight of ceaseless charges that tend to throw them off balance in the sector, Nigerian Shippers Council promptly comes to their rescue.
We know that we are achieving something.
Today, you now have a regulator.
To get justice done without the money for any charges.
It's Tidbit, the world's biggest container ship and the first to break the 24,000 TEU mark.
Allah Inland Drive port is born again. Finally, the eagle has landed.
It is initiatives like this that we want to encourage.
Join us for a smooth sail on your favorite maritime program, The Shipper, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting, as the arts are meant to be.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Nigerians are counting down to when they will experience a new administration, and it's exactly 27 days to the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the 16th President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Join us on our social media handles. Remember to use the hashtag Inauguration Day to participate live on the show. Yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari did ask incoming administration to respect workers' rights at the May Day celebration. The big question is, what will be the gains of Nigerian workers under the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu after inauguration? Nigeria's President-elect Bola Tinubu promised to join forces with Nigerian forces to ensure better welfare and working conditions, promising workers will have more than a minimum wage. He's also asking for support for his soon-to-begin administration in fighting poverty, ignorance, disease, disunity, ethnic and religious hate, which he described as common enemies. He said, quote, "Your fight will be my fight because I will always fight for you." Now, let's look at what the law is saying concerning workers' welfare, because there's an expectation of periodic review of wage. The Pension Reform Act of 2014, for instance, provides that pension should be increased after every 5 years or whenever there is an increase in the salary of active workers. That's in line with the provision of Section 173 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Now, the incoming administration must match words with action, and that's exactly what we're talking about on the show today, particularly looking at what the situations are currently, what the outgoing administration has been able to achieve in the past close to 8 years, and what workers expect from the incoming administration.
I encourage the incoming administration to continue to respect workers' rights, imbued with socio-economic development and driven by the 4 pillars of decent work agenda.
Nigerians and Nigerian work need evidence of the commitment of the Nigerian leaders to ensuring their safety, their security, their progress, and eventually their liberty. It is only the proof of this that can reconnect the masses and workers with the government.
We call on federal governments to consider the incorporation of transition fuels such as CNG as an addition to currently available energy in Nigeria. The use of compressed natural gas, which is a lot cheaper, can also be long-term alternative to petrol.
Well, there's a long list of demand from organized labor that is saying that the take-home isn't enough to take them home. They're also concerned about the purchasing power of the average Nigerian worker, occasioned by the increase in inflation and what have you. The big question is, what exactly will the incoming administration do differently? We'll take a break, and I'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Coming up in the month of May, and the first is International Workers' Day. The third is World Press Freedom Day. On the 5th is the 13th anniversary of President Yar'Adua's demise in 2010. While from 12th to 16th of May are days dedicated as United Nations Global Road Safety Week. The 16th of May is International Day of the Boy Child. World Hypertension Day is on the 17th. And on the 27th is Children's Day. 29th of May is Nigeria's Inauguration Day, the commencement of a new 4-year tenure of another administration. On the 31st is World No Tobacco Day. Brace yourself and tune in to TVC News for special reports and analysis on these days.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear.
Now that Nigeria's next president has been decided at the poll on February 25, attention is shifted to May 29 Inauguration Day, the commencement of a new 4-year tenure of Nigeria's 16th president since 1960, when the country gained independence. It's going to be the 7th inauguration ceremony since the beginning of the Fourth Republic in 1999. And President-elect Bola Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima will take the oath of office. Join me, Nifemi Ogutoye, every weekday on TVC News for the countdown to the historic May 29 Inauguration Day, as we bring you all updates, political intrigues, and in-depth analysis of people and events that you need to know. The countdown to May 29 Inauguration Day, live at 6 p.m. every weekday, only on TVC News.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Join me, Precious Amayo, as I bring you news from the epicenter, where it happens and when it happens, staying on top of every breaking story, minute by minute, right at the hour when the city gets busy and just before it sleeps. We're live from every angle with objective insight and analysis. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us. The countdown is on to Inauguration Day, and we are looking at some of workers' demands ahead of the incoming administration. I'm joined now by public affairs analyst Biodun Showumi. Thank you for joining us on the countdown. It would seem that very soon the euphoria of the electoral victory will give way to some serious business for the incoming administration, particularly when you consider the requests of workers on May Day. They are asking for an increase in salary. For instance, the Congress had noted that no amount of increase in their naira terms will be good enough if government did not control the rise in inflation and high cost of goods in the country. How daunting a challenge would you say this is for the incoming administration?
Honestly speaking, anyone who is taking on the job of turning the economy of Nigeria around now should really be praised. The country is in a very tough situation currently. We've had inflation eroding the living wages of the people. We've had a situation where we now need to remove subsidy on fuel due to the fact that we're spending over 90% of our income to finance our debt. And consequently, it means the country does not have enough funds to finance either development projects or even in some cases to pay salaries, particularly in some states, which are owing between 8 and 11 months. Now, given that situation, there is a need to rethink the economy. The only way to re-engineer the economy will involve some things. There is a need to balance inflation, with with the realities on ground, because the reality is the living wages of the people have been badly eroded, and once the subsidy is removed, the new government will have to introduce some palliatives to ameliorate the pains, the excruciating pains that people will feel. And consequently, it behoves on the president-elect to put a team together to walk through this very difficult study journey of re-engineering the economy, while at the same time making sure that people are well catered for and they have a living wage. That is a promise which Tinubu has made to the whole country. One way we all need to think about is how do we resolve, the contradictions that will unfold. What do I mean by this? The contradiction is very clear. Labour Party has as its trustee the trade union movement, the two umbrella organizations of the trade union. So consequently, they are part and parcel of the opposition. And should that be the case, every move of the Labour Party in opposing, or of the trade unions in opposing government reforms may be seen, to be partisan.
We'll get to the partisan affiliation of organized labor shortly, but on top of the purchasing power of the average Nigerian, Mr. Showumi, Labour is also talking about the debt profile that seems to have tremendously climbed up in the past 8 years, unlike the outgoing administration that inherited a debt of approximately $10.32 billion. Ashiwaju might be getting a whole lot more than that. We're looking at about $103 billion. The figure on the street is 77 trillion naira, even though the debt management office is putting it at 46.2 trillion naira. But perhaps we're looking at an unprecedented debt burden in Nigeria's history. Is there a magic wand to this effect? Because, there's also the management of the expectation of the average Nigerian, particularly when a new name comes, on board. Is this something that can be fixed as early and as quickly as Nigerians want it?
Oh, yes. It depends on which figures you're looking at. There are some figures combining the internal and external debt, claiming something around 71 trillion naira as the debt that will be inherited by the incoming administration. What this means is that stringent measures will have to be taken with a view to be able to free some money to not only meet the recurrent expenditure of government, but also capital expenditure. One of the steps that can be taken, which will, I'm sure, may be taken immediately, is the issue of rescheduling many of the debts which we have. Current, particularly the ones with multilateral agencies and bilateral debt. Looking at how to cut down on importation while increasing export of goods. One of the factors militating against the exportation of goods from Nigeria is the high cost of production. One is caused by power supply problems because diesel is not cheap nowadays. Many companies have had to rely on diesel. Then the other problem is also the cost of PMS. PMS, once the subsidy is removed, the cost of PMS will go up, so the cost of running businesses will certainly go up. But this can easily, be negated through exchange rate stability. For instance, the government may choose to merge the two exchange rate systems. That is, the official rate and the black market rate. Merge it into one single exchange rate while concentrating on refurbishing the refinery, repairing those refineries. Once we are able to get the refineries repaired by October, this will free a lot of the foreign exchange being used to import PMS into the country. And that will create a measure of stability, for the exchange rate system in the country. So all this will take some time. It's not something that would happen overnight.
Absolutely.
It will require a lot of patience from the trade unions, from the workers, and from all Nigerians. Because things are bad, and we've got to fix it. We have no other country other than this one. And the man that can do the job is the man that has been elected.
We also do not have the luxury of time, Mr. Showumi, given the promises that Nigerians have had in the previous years and particularly in the outgoing administration. You talked about the removal of fuel subsidy. That's one thing the president-elect was categorical about during his campaigns, that he has to let go of these. You know that the Buhari administration seemed to be shying away from the June deadline for the removal of fuel subsidy. You're saying it will take time, and the president-elect is saying this is something I'm committed to doing. Just how much time do you think it would take to create that buffer that is needed? Will you consider, for instance, the amount of naira that we now exchange for a liter of petrol when this is done?
What I mean by it will take time is before we can see exchange rate stability in a way that many people will feel comfortable, in a way that will help our exports to be more competitive, that will take time. In terms of removal of subsidies, I expect that this will get done within the next 3 months of the new administration. What the government needs to do once the administration comes in is to go into compact with the trade union movement, which is basically to reach a set of agreements around productivity, around remuneration, including allowances for workers, and set a target time, for implementation, which government will be very faithful to, unlike what we have recently in the recent past, successive administrations, when these are never respected. So once we are able to do that, I'm sure many Nigerians will show the necessary level of understanding.
Do you think, Mr. Showumi, do you think it will be quite easy to get organized labor on board? Recall Occupy Nigeria, I believe in 2012 was also, a fallout of an attempt by a previous government to tow this path. You talked about organized labor and partisan politics earlier. They are saying that they will continue to get involved in politics, and the reason is to bring matters surrounding the welfare of workers to the front burner of programs and policies of government. And according to them, the current labor movement is owned by the Labour Party, and this is perhaps the first time that they have a popular candidate who will help them drive that opposition. On the contrary, the president-elect in his May Day speech is also saying that organized labor will find in him a dependable ally and co-laborer in the fight for social and economic justice for all Nigerians. At best, these are all talks, but what do you see play out, seeing how politically active organized labor has become, and the proposal on the part of the president-elect to remove subsidy?
I have no doubt that the president-elect is the right person to do the job, because he has the experience of managing industrial relations in Lagos. I remember quite very well in 1999 when the president-elect became the governor of Lagos State. He was faced with a major challenge from the trade union. I remember quite clearly the NLC in Lagos State at that point in time was highly militant and were challenging the reform eventually he was able to resolve this issue in a way that today workers do not go on strike in Lagos. They are assured of their wages. Even when the former president, General Olusegun Obasanjo, withheld Lagos State statutory allocation to local government, he still ensured that workers were paid their due wages, at the right time. And given his past experience in negotiating, the complex industrial relations issue, I have no doubt that it could transport it, to the national level and engage the trade union movement in a compact. That compact will be about agreement on the way forward. This is the situation on the ground. This is how much the country is owing. This is how much we're using to service the debt. This is the still money available, which is not enough, for recurrent and capital expenditure. So we need to do this. We need to remove this subsidy. But this is what we would do, as palliatives to reduce the impact of the pain on not only workers, on all Nigerians, and at the same time also inflate, the salaries of workers.
Absolutely, that's fine, as long as we are not also, borrowing money to do that, because as we speak, we hear that we are unable to even service our debt without borrowing. But as we begin to wrap up, I'd like us to end with this quote from President-elect's speech yesterday. He did say, quote, "The days ahead will demand better understanding and cooperation from all sides, because leadership, according to him, will require that we take tough and hard decisions so that our people and all Nigerian workers can live more abundantly." Just how much of hard life can Nigerians take, going further? You recall that in the early days of this outgoing administration, we heard stories about the initial pang of birth. Things are going to eventually get better. You need to ask Nigerians on the street to tell you what their experience is in that regard. But what do you expect? How do you think Nigerians can cope with all of these tough decisions that must be taken, to better their lives?
Yes, I have no doubt that there is trust deficit in government in Nigeria today. But there's a renewed hope being brought about due to the experience and achievements of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who has been elected, as the president of the country. The truth of the matter is, there is no gain without pain. There is no way we can fix the economy in Nigeria today without some pain being experienced by the people. The fact of the matter is, it is time to right-size, the civil service. It is also the right time, to ensure that we intensify our efforts to create the enabling environment for private businesses to be able to thrive. For instance, one of the factors militating against the expansion of the economy is the high interest rate. There is no way you borrow money at 25-30% and then expect to make a profit and pay back within a year or two. It's almost impossible. So I'm sure that this is one of the areas where government will have to look at the percentage-based rate points, on interest being charged, and also look at the administrative charges being charged by the bank. So there are quite some measures that have to be taken. All these steps are taken, it will take time before we begin to see the fruits of it. Eventually, the country will be better off because the private sector would lead the development of the economy, would lead the expansion of the economy, rather than government having to play that role. And that fact, I think, has been made very clear by almost all the aspirants in the last election. But we have only seen a more concrete suggestions and plans, coming from the president-elect. And I have no doubt that Nigerians show the necessary level of tolerance as long as they know, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. Good place to live. Ebonyi Showumi, thank you so much. You're supposed to be sitting next to me. I understand you're stuck in traffic. That's perhaps something government also has to consider. How do we fix the roads, using world best practices without, losing so many man-hour and frustrating, the hell out of people. But a big thank you for joining us on the program this evening. Ebonyi Showumi, public affairs analyst.
Thank you for having me.
That's our show tonight. Thanks for being a part of it. The conversation continues on Twitter. If you use the hashtag
What is the hashtag again? Someone remind me. Inauguration Day. Exactly. That's what the conversation is on Twitter and other social media handles. I'm Nifemi Ogutoye, and I'm back at 7 p.m. with more stories. Thanks for staying with us.
It's a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Do you struggle with having an active and healthy lifestyle due to your busy schedule? Do you find it's difficult to make it to the gym? You want to improve your overall health, but don't know where and how to start? Medical experts agree that walking, running, and jogging are amongst the best ways to stay fit and enjoy a great active and healthy lifestyle. What if there was a convenient and affordable way to improve your health, improve your mood, and lose weight right in your own home? Introducing the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill, the compact foldable treadmill that makes being active and losing weight fast and easy. Just unfold it and walk, jog, or run while you watch your favorite programs on TV. And when you're done, just fold it and store it away. Now that's convenience. The secret is its advanced design that houses a 1-horsepower motor that is twice the size of most treadmills, packed into a nice compact unit, powering every step you take. You get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill System complete with a rugged commercial-grade ultra-durable traction belt, large LCD multifunctional display that displays speed, time, distance, calories, and has 12 different exercise programs, as well as a magnetic safety key for added security.
The SportX treadmill has really helped me get back in shape after childbirth. I love it because it's compact and can fit anywhere in the house. And when I'm done, I fold and put it away. Easy peasy.
This is the best piece of equipment for people like me who want to stay active without leaving the home. I simply unfold it and use it while I watch my favorite program on TV.
Joining a gym can cost an absolute fortune, and you could be paying up to 600,000 naira in annual gym fees. Get the SportX treadmill to save the cost and work out from the convenience of your home. You could pay 500,000 naira for a treadmill like this, but you can get the SportX treadmill for not 400,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira. Order right now and get this for just 264,950 naira only. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the SportX Digital Compact Treadmill delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. And it comes with a ShopX 30-day money-back guarantee. Hurry, limited stock available. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Cancer, a terminal disease, is an abnormal cell growth with potentials to spread to other parts of the body. A number of factors could trigger this in the body, such as smoking, radiation, presence of virus or cancer-causing chemicals, obesity, hormones, chronic inflammations, and lack of exercise. To curtail the spread of this global scourge, health practitioners all over the world have divided into various forms of research, screening, and treatment of these diseases, which causes about 72,000 deaths and an estimate of 102,000 new cases annually. In Edo State, the Benin Cancer Registry reported 1,846 related cases of cancer between 2014 and 2016, a situation which has prompted advocacy through free screening.
The luck we have is all these cancers, they are preventable, and once detected early, they can be treated. So we thank the management of UBT for this initiative, because what it does for us now is open doors for the public to have an idea of what we do, because we are the first center that started the Well Persons Clinic, where you are apparently well, you just come in and you get screened for non-communicable and communicable diseases. These cancers are part of the non-communicable diseases.
Also, the University of Benin Teaching Hospital joined in this fight and embarked on a 2-week free screening for breast cancer, cervical and prostate cancer. Chief Minister said the institution
statistics shows clearly that cancer is the #1 cause of death in UBTH. Of course, we are a referral hospital, so maybe might not be the same population-wide, but most of the cancer cases, they will eventually end up in UBTH, and it's probably #1 cause of death. So we felt that it should be something we should talk about, something we should do something about. We can do more, and we are using this opportunity to try to educate our society, our citizens about how to prevent and how to for them to come early for screening. So if these cells have grown beyond a certain site and have moved all over the body, it's very, very hard to achieve cure. But if it's when it's just forming, still at that particular organ, very early on, surgical intervention, different approaches can be used to cure it. Like one of these, like what we call
beyond Nigeria, cancer is the most common cause of deaths in the whole world as we speak right now. And apart from that, cancer is also the most common disease entity we have globally as we speak. People talk of hypertension, people talk of diabetes, but among both communicable and non-communicable diseases, cancer is the leading cause of mortality and morbidity globally. Then when you come down to Nigeria, the situation is not also different. The situation is also similar, because as we speak, cancer is also the most common disease entity in Nigeria as we speak. Even bringing it down to Edo State is the same trend.
Abimbola Oyetunde is a journalist who works with a radio station. She is happy with this exercise and encourages members of the public to take advantage of offers such as this to ascertain their status.
I feel is a laudable thing to do, and it will help Benin residents. It will go a long way in letting them know the status in terms of health. And as we heard earlier, breast cancer is the highest in the country and globally as well, and we need to curb it. So it's a good thing they are doing it and making it go public. The awareness is great, and we commend UBTH for this laudable program they are doing.
It's a very essential service which many people need to undertake, because it is one of the biggest problems we men have. And I've lost some friends even recently due to this cancer. So I will encourage men particularly to come forward and carry out this test, because life is short, and it is even worse when you have it and your children, your family members are traumatized.
Despite the steps taken and canvassed by experts, one ingredient that poses as a cloud is the lack of adequate sensitization for the people on the need for regular checkup.
Words like "don't tell anyone, no one will believe you" can change any child's life. Period of learning and sweet memories. But for some children, it is full of deep anguish, sadness, and timidity. The World Health Organization, about 1 billion children have experienced one form of sexual violence in the past 1 year. In Nigeria, 1 in 4 girls and 10% of boys have experienced sexual abuse. After reaching out to many survivors who refused to share their experiences, Omolayo agreed to speak with me. She is a survivor and now a therapist.
Remember, the first one happened at 7 by a relative living in our house, and subsequent ones happened with neighbors, and it went on for a while, and I couldn't speak out about it because I didn't know it had a name. I didn't know it was called sexual abuse. I just knew that I didn't enjoy it. It was disgusting and I needed it to stop. I had some courage. I wanted to confront him and say, I don't ever want to see him in my house again and all that. But when we got to his house, we didn't meet him at home. We met his elder sister because he was staying with his elder sister. And we expressed everything to her. Oh, I mean, I heard the kind of insults I heard that day. She blamed me for everything. She said it was my fault. She said I lied. I felt humiliated. I felt embarrassed. I wished I didn't come out to speak. And that time I made up my mind I wasn't ever going to speak about it again.
She explains that sex education is important for children at a young age.
Growing up, we were not taught we could say no to adults, and then we didn't know that we could tell an adult, you can't touch me there. What sex education also does is it protects the child from becoming a pedophile too. Because when you teach sex education, you teach boundaries. You let the child know that when someone says no, no means no. You let the child know that nobody touches your private parts. You do not touch other people's private parts.
As the cases keep increasing, experts advise more advocacy from the NGOs. I visited a foundation in Lagos State that caters to victims of sexual abuse. They show me around their facility while explaining the process of getting justice for the victims.
The child needs healing, which is the reason why we've launched the clinic. Get the healing, the treatment that the child needs, put the child in the shelter till the child is calm enough to have that conversation with either a therapist or the forensic interviewer. We always first go have the child speak with the therapist. Of course, the therapist is trained to get the trust of the child, is trained to know if the child is ready to have an interview. So those processes, first of all, have to be put in place before we put a child in front of a forensic interviewer to elicit information on their.
Child sexual abuse has become an epidemic. A silent epidemic that affects both male and female. Now this is a case where the victims are traumatized, unable to speak up, and most times the culprits are people close to home. Now although there are laws and policies against such acts, does it work? Does it actually cover all the victims? Is it such where the victims are able to get justice without the case running cold? I then went to the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, where cases are being reported and taken up in courts.
In the criminal law of Lagos State, we have section 137, which provides for the offense of defilement. Defilement is basically having sexual intercourse with a person below the age of 18, and that is life imprisonment. When such crimes come to your attention and you attempt or you take steps to conceal that crime, it's punishable by an offense up to, I believe, 3 years imprisonment.
For a child, sexual abuse is more than just physical. It affects the emotional, mental, and psychological well-being. And for some, it damages them for life.
As we approach the gates of the female custodial facility of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Kirikiri, Lagos, southwest Nigeria, I realized how fickle life can be, thinking of the women behind the walls.
Good morning, madam. Number 244, madam, complain.
This is the first female facility in Nigeria, established in the 1960s. Freed of all we had, or called our own, we were let into a world different from what we expected. The 63-year-old facility seems to be shedding off its grayness, to make the inmates embrace its reformative nature. We are told will be restricted for security reasons. Life here is somewhat familiar, especially for those who have been to boarding houses in secondary schools.
There are special programs that have been put in place for the treatment of the inmates. Essentially, our mandate is to keep them in safe and humane custody, give them access to justice in motorized formation, identify the causes of their antisocial behavior, and give them some regimes of treatment in form of reformation, rehabilitation, reintegration, and giving them training to acquire skills.
Section 10. In 2018, the Nigerian Correctional Service got a laurel in recognition of its innovative literacy program of equipping prisoners with useful skills and professions to facilitate income generation upon discharge.
This is female custodian facility, the only female custodian facility in Nigeria where we have women of great influence. Great women that are doing, I like to say, because we are doing different things that ordinary outside we may not have opportunity to do it. Here we have women doing cane chairs, we have women mechanic here, we have women doing knitting. Some of the dress we wear, the women make it. So you see them, National Open University is ongoing. We have some of them that are graduated to master degree level. We have some of them that are doing character class, joy bringer, they are here. So we have tailoring is going on, and knitting, weaving, many things are going on here.
For the inmates, remembering what brought them into prison is painful. With tears in their eyes, they try to embrace the help and educational programs in the facility. To protect their identities, we are withholding their names and hiding their faces. Mary, not a real name, tells me how remorseful a time in the correctional facility has been, although she's still awaiting trial.
I got into drug. That's how I got here. Out there we think it's the right thing, you're just trying to live life, go peddle drugs, make money and all of that, but it's not the right thing getting inside here. At some point, when I had my case, I was depressed somehow, somewhere, and I was introduced to the various activities in the yard that could help me heal and then help me to know that there's a purpose I'm supposed to live for. I came in here, I find out that most people are innocent but ignorant make us fall victim of the circumstances that brought us here. So for me in person, I have learned to live a purpose-driven life. Being to prison is not a good thing, but getting inside here and back to the society, it's a different transformation.
Although they made the wrong choices, the inmates are trying to make lemonades from lemons. The inmates are said to be doing great things, living above society's prejudices.
I came here because I was charged for drug trafficking.
Shade, not her real name, is from Ekiti State. She joined the vocational team to learn tailoring with hopes that when she gets out in a few months, she can start up a business and get her children back.
This is my family, my children, my loved one. Then I miss my work, making money. You know, being that stigma. So that is why I'm trying my best to be something and to take something out of this place.
In the yard, women sit in groups waiting for the bell to be rung, a signal the day is over. While they wait, others take to the well to fetch water for the night. The facility hopes to phase out the rusty tanks and get boreholes befitting for the facility.
For some, hope is thinning out. All they have is time on their hands as they count seconds, minutes, hours, waiting for the day they will be let out of these confined walls. And while they wait, all they can hold on to is the craft.
No matter how windy a journey may be, hope is kept alive if the target is worth the pursuit. A 19-year-old, Daniel Okolie, is the impressionable target I am gunning after. Exactly 1 year ago, I discovered him here at the Asheshe axis of the Redeemed Camp in Ogun State as the world marked Autism Day. Daniel is living with autism, a condition that challenges the brain, the nervous system, and communication. But he is beating against the waves of the health condition through his very supportive family.
Oh, Daniel, it's Daniel.
Arriving at the home of the Okolies to see the rapid growth of Daniel was an absolute delight. Daniel, who started out his creativity as a pen and paper artist, has expanded his craft to more impressionable artistic works. Powerful strokes from his highly imaginative mind leaves you savoring for more of his creative expressions. This one makes me feel like sailing. Daniel's horizon has clearly expanded.
Yes, you're telling the truth. I do paint and sculpting, but that changed. Now I'm doing abstract painting, nature, real life, and constructive drawing because I need change and people need change too.
Many parents with autistic children easily give up on them. But Daniel's parents toed the line of the wise. They are supporting him in various ways without looking back. Daniel is domestically useful. He can make meals for himself and his family. He runs errands for his mom within the vicinity, puts on the generator and helps sweep the compound. Daniel's younger brother, David, is very proud of him.
I feel the government needs to intervene with this because I always wonder, his works are so unique, so why not the recognition? Yes, though, he goes for his art exhibitions, he gets the sponsorship, but he doesn't get it enough. I don't see it enough. So I think now, I feel the government needs to intervene with this. If we can just promote his works, if they can just see his uniqueness, if they can just see the beauty of his mind, I would really be happy if they could really support him internationally and nationally. He could be the best in Ogun State. He could be the best in Nigeria. He could be the best in the world. So, as his brother, I want to beg the government and ask them to please promote the uniqueness of my brother and make him blossom. And that will be a plus to Nigeria.
If Daniel gets international
Mrs. Olufunke Okolie, a civil servant and Daniel's mother, is optimistic her son will make Nigeria proud if committedly supported by the government and well-meaning people.
So that he can do better. Daniel is beyond the Okolie's family now. He's first a Nigerian. And if the required support is given to him, where he can learn better in an environment for his type of children, and he can be free to express himself, I'm sure he will be back home to do great things, even in representing Nigeria.
Daniel is done with secondary education. To enhance his artistic abilities, his parents presented his works for his registration at the Architecture Department of the Redeemers College of Technology and Management at the Redeemed Camp. Daniel can go to school on his own, and with his instructor, he displays the quick ability to gain understanding speedily, as he's been taught how to make his paintings more glossy and long-lasting. Mr. Michael Fashakin is excited about Daniel Okolie's unique skills. He couldn't hold back his views.
I saw some of his works with very intricate lines. And I wondered, Daniel, did you sit down to do all these things? He said, yes, now. I did it now. So at that point, I said, no, this guy is a potential. So I see him going to great heights. I believe if well monitored, if well taken care of, we won't be able to stop him. In fact, this world will not be able to stop him. 100 years to come, people will still be talking about his work and his personality.
Daniel Okolie is a clear example of what a proper circle of support can do for children who are physically, mentally, or environmentally challenged. Many of them carry untapped potentials as they quietly wait for the highly needed push into excellence and national value. This is one of the lovely works of Daniel Okolie, who has not allowed a health challenge or medical dictates stop him from expressing his creativity. Daniel has beaten all waves of autism. But the big question is, who will be magnanimous enough to set him on his journey to the world stage? We will watch and see.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
When shippers groan under the weight of ceaseless charges that tend to throw them off balance in the sector, Nigerian Shippers Council promptly comes to their rescue.
We know that we are achieving something.
Today, you now have a regulator.
To get justice done without the money.
Ford is born again. Finally, the eagle has landed.
It is initiatives like this that we want to encourage.
Join us for a smooth sail on your favorite maritime program, The Shipper, brought to you by Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigeria's port economic regulator.
Our planet, our home, threatened by man's activities with fears of mass extinction on the rise. On Green Angle, we examine the issues that affect our environment, seek solutions to put us on track to secure and restore a cleaner and greener world for generations to come.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia, January 15, 1929. The son of a Baptist minister, King received a doctorate degree in theology and in 1955 helped organize the first major protest of the African American civil rights movement, the successful Montgomery bus boycott. King participated in and led marches for the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. He advocated civil disobedience and nonviolent opposition against segregation in the South, influenced by Mahatma Gandhi, the peaceful protests he led throughout the American South were often met with violence. Nonetheless, Dr. King and his supporters were persistent and the movement gained momentum. Dr. King was a powerful orator. He appealed to Christian and American ideals and won growing support from the federal government and Northern White. In 1963, Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph led the massive march on Washington for jobs and freedom. The event's grand finale was King's famous I Have a Dream speech. 250,000 people gathered outside the Lincoln Memorial to hear the stirring speech. In 1964, the civil rights movement achieved two of its greatest successes: the ratification of the 24th Amendment, which abolished the poll tax, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which prohibited racial discrimination in employment and education and outlawed racial segregation in public facilities. In the same year, King became the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize. In the late 1960s, King openly criticized U.S. involvement in Vietnam and turned his efforts to winning economic rights for poor Americans. He was a leader of the American Civil Rights Movement and organized a number of peaceful protests as head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, including the March on Washington in 1963. He was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
On the news tonight, police arrest suspended Adamawa reg Hudu Yunusa Ari in Abuja. Senate queries delay in the issuance of renewal of passports by the Nigerian Immigration Service. The United Nations says over 100,000 people fled Sudan since fighting broke out between rival forces. This is TVC News at 7, reaching you live from our headquarters here in Lagos. We begin in the nation's capital, where the police on Tuesday arrested the suspended resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ari. The force spokesman, Muyiwa Dejobi, in a statement confirmed the arrest of the embattled reg. Mr. Dejobi said Mr. Ari, who was arrested by the police election planning, monitoring and evaluation team in Abuja on Tuesday, is currently in police custody and is being grilled to know the reason for his actions during the supplementary elections in Adamawa. He said other officials and individuals culpable in the saga are being interrogated by the team in line with President Buhari's directive for full investigation on the matter. According to him, the Inspector General of Police has also said anyone involved will be apprehended for possible prosecution. The suspended reg had also said he never regretted announcing Aisha Binani Dahiru of the All Progressives Congress as winner of the 2023 governorship election in the state. INEC later concluded the election and announced the incumbent governor, Amadu Fintiri of the People's Democratic Party, as authentic winner of the poll. Let's talk very quickly to the first PR, Muyiwa Dejobi, who joins us live from Abuja. The resident electoral commissioner did say some 2 weeks after he went into hiding in an interview that he was going to surrender himself to the police. Was that what happened? or this was a case of forceful apprehension?
Well, good evening. It's not a case of false apprehension, but a letter of invitation has been sent to him, considering his status and where he works. So he deserves to be sent a letter of invitation, and that's what the police, the team that handling the case did. And there has been a gentleman. He has honored invitation, and he has been with us in the custody of the team at the headquarters here, where he's being interrogated. And some other people that have been fingered in this saga have also been interrogated. But the fact in issue is we have him with us, and the investigation has commenced in earnest, and we shall update Nigerians as and when due on this matter.
CSP Adejobi, talking about the other people involved, the Commissioner of Police in Adamawa, Mohammed Bade, and other security chiefs were reportedly present at the time the resident electoral commissioner made that infamous announcement. The IGP, thereafter removed him, replacing him with the CP in Gombe. What's the update with that? Is he currently being interrogated as well?
Like I said, that even in the statement we made for those who are involved, other security operatives, INEC officials, and independent observers, and those who must have been involved in the incident, we are going to ask them questions. When you investigate cases like this, it's either you are interrogated as a suspect or you are interrogated as a witness. So we are having people to interrogate. I will continue to interrogate as many as possible so that we can have more facts to help us in carrying out proper investigation into the matter.
Let's look at the timeline of this event, CSP. At the time, you were quoted to have said that the force had not gotten any request or letter from INEC demanding the prosecution or investigation of the resident electoral commissioner. What is the standard practice in a case of this nature where there is an, apparent breach of electoral act? Thus, the police wait on an official complaint or a letter from the INEC or the Electoral Commission before swinging into action?
Don't forget, any violation of electoral act is always taken over by INEC, even at polling units. If a policeman is at the polling unit and somebody violates electoral act, we expect the INEC official there to call the attention of security operatives to that. So when it comes to the issue of violation of electoral act, we expect INEC to take certain steps, and which of course they have done. And that's why that letter was sent to the IGP, that this is what that is happening, that the IGP should look into this case. So the ideal thing in a situation like this, considering the status of this public office holder or public servant, is to do this, what INEC has done, and that's why we have been able to swing into action to commence our investigation now.
How's the police reacting to the fallout of this incident in Adamawa? A winner has emerged, but we hear that there are still pockets of protest as to certain arrests that were made, particularly, the outright beating up and injuring of some security experts and, national commissioners of the Electoral Commission.
There are many cases that we look into now in Adamawa. Complaints, police have received some complaints too at Adamawa level and even at the headquarters level that the police is looking into. For now, it's too early for us to be judgmental about whatever we do. Let us allow these teams looking into these cases to do the cases. But whatever it is, we will not encourage anybody to cause violence in Adamawa. There are processes to follow. If you feel aggrieved in an electoral process, the law has stipulated steps to follow. So we only want to encourage those who are feeling somehow about the result or who are aggrieved. So please follow due process. We will not want unnecessary steps that will cause brouhaha or anarchy in Adamawa State or any part of the country. These processes are there for us to follow. The laws are clear about it, and we just encourage Nigerians to follow what these laws are saying about expressing your grievances or seeking redress on some of these electoral issues.
Absolutely. All eyes on the police now, CSP Adejobi, particularly concerning this incident, which is considered a watershed in Nigeria's electoral history. It's also perhaps the first time that the new Electoral Act will be put to test. Thank you for talking to us on the news this hour.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you.
Now let's turn to Owerri, where stakeholders in office have continued to earn him support from the people across the state. The stakeholders said the governor's urban renewal policy has transformed the capital city from what it used to be. TVC's Prince Oba has details.
The Owerri-Olu Road, Owerri-Okigwe Road and Owerri-Umuahia Road are gateways to most local governments in the state. These roads have been left to rot for many years, but upon assumption of office, those Odema-led administration aggressively reconstructed and redesigned the roads for ease of movement for motorists.
This governor remains committed to supporting all of our people, particularly young people who seek opportunities and jobs.
These, amongst other giant strides achieved in the zone, are the reasons the leaders of Owerri Zone converged on Owerri, the capital of Imo State, to pass a vote of confidence on the governor as he seeks another term in office.
We're not talking about only roads. We are talking about our people he has employed or empowered. I would like us to also advise our brothers and sisters coming up for this November election to please step down.
We are here to tell our people that we are for government and government is for us. Is it not true? Government is for government and government is for us.
While adopting the Charter of Equity, presented by Imo Council of Elders, the stakeholders appeal to candidates of other parties from the zone contesting governorship seat now to step down.
I use an English word, scale of preference. Hope Uzodinma is a preference, and we have made our choice.
The Owerri Zone deserve it in the next 4 years, and that equity has given us that right. And we are saying, Okigwe, allow us to do after Hope Uzodinma.
He has done so well. He has connected Imo to national grid. So what else are we talking about?
As Imo governorship election scheduled for November 11 by the Independent National Electoral Commission draws near, the electorate remains the ultimate decider of who emerges Imo governor. Prince Oba, TVC News, Owerri.
The Senate has queried the delay in the issuance and renewal of passports by the Nigerian Immigration Service. And this is as the Upper Legislative Chamber mandated its Committee on Interior to investigate the matter and probe the contract for the printing of passports by the NIS. The lawmakers issued these directives at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday, following a motion by Senator Uche Ekwenife narrating the ordeal citizens go through and the kind of hardship they face in getting their passports.
The Senate observes that getting an appointment for biometrics capturing at the passport offices now takes between 5 to 8 weeks. After biometrics,